Hey guys, welcome back. So, as we mature through our lives, from teenagers to young adults, we're going to make vital decisions in respect to our sexuality and our sexual behaviors. And it's highly important that we make the right ones. Now, there are people, as in this case of Almighty Jay, that says he hates using condoms. It says here, Texas-born rapper Almighty Jay is putting all of his trust in a higher power, admitting in a recent interview that he prefers not to use condoms when he's having sex. After the interviewer warned the 22-year-old father of one that he was rolling the dice by refusing to wear protection, Almighty Jay said that he walks by faith and not by diseases. Oh, that's quite a massive faith there. He also said this, I don't use condoms before, but I don't plan on just going around and using condoms. He also said that he's not concerned about having lots of children by different women, saying, I ain't gonna have no kids, bro. So you hear for yourself, I walk by faith, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I don't walk by diseases. I don't use condoms before, but I don't plan on just going around and using condoms. So he's willfully doing it, intentionally presumptuous. People need to stop interjecting faith just to rationalize their wrongdoing, and then when they get into trouble, then going to call on God. It's just ridiculous. On top of it, diseases don't discriminate. Look at COVID. It doesn't matter your age, race, your gender, your country. It don't matter your climate. It doesn't matter the technology. It just comes for you. So folks like Almighty Jay that approaches it with this very carefree, nonchalant, if not arrogant mindset is quite dangerous. Okay? They need to understand that when you have herpes, gonorrhea, and syphilis, you increase the risk of HIV acquisition. It becomes far more easier. Gonorrhea and chlamydia are major cause of pelvic inflammation. And people might think, oh, if I catch chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis, it's no big deal. There's a medicine for it. Well, don't worry. There come a time where these antibiotics are not strong enough to cure it. Herpes and HIV, there's no cure. Okay? For hepatitis B, there are only antiviral medications that can help fight the virus and slow it down from damaging your liver. But beyond that, your lifestyle will forever change. People are not as rich as, say, Magic Johnson to can afford these antiviral medicine to slow down the HIV. So it behooves you to take note. Now, some people will trump this up to sexual education, the accessibility, and so forth. But in the West, sex education is something that is integrated from your probably middle school straight up to adulthood. Despite of this, guys, there's one point to be made that across the world, it's treated very differently. Even though you have the permeation of technology, cell phones, social media. I mean, every country has its flaws. If that wasn't the case, well, you wouldn't have this alarming HIV/AIDS rates in the African continent. So it all varies, but it could be that even access to reproductive things such as condoms or birth control isn't there. But irrespective of this, we are in a stage now where sex education is accessible. But you have people like Almighty Jay, men and women, who decide, hey, I'm just going to do what I need to do. I don't care, irrespective of the consequences that may come by. You see, I would hold men accountable. I believe men should have standards as much as you see me sometimes talk about the female nature. And as such, guys like Almighty Jay, even though it's 22, needs to understand you're not invincible. You are still flesh and bone. Okay? You can die just by the snap of a finger. Okay? There isn't just some incurable cure man can just create at any time. Okay? It's stupid. Additionally, if he was to take a stop and just think introspectively, slow down, he will realize that he's being selfish on his part. not considering the reverberating effect it will have on the other people that he has known in his life and the future persons that he will meet. Trust me, maybe at some point he wants to get married. I assure you, the woman that you will desire might not want to deal with you simply because you have one of those incurable diseases. Maybe she has it, that's different, but you have to consider these factors. So it is selfish, okay? And if it's stringing furthermore, there are people, men and women, but particularly men with their fame, such as athletes, entertainers, world leaders, politicians. They think that money, that status can make issues go poof and it's fixed. No, there are effects, there are consequences to the issues. Let's take, for instance, Tristan Thompson. With his baby mama debacle, he's sleeping around with Marilee Nichols. He found out later on she has herpes, so he has to get tested, and so does Chloe, because he was dating her at the same time. So that's what I mean. That's selfish. You're not thinking about the other person. You're just thinking about yourself. And we need to hold ourselves more accountable. And men need to do this as much as women, but men, because guess what? Women control sexual access. And depending on who you are, especially if you're high profile and she's very sexually attracted to you, it would be a high probability she's okay with just going raw. But even then, she's wrong too. She should practice it. So guys, when it's all said and done, I'm not a saint, and this goes for both men and women. Practice safe sex. Simple. Stop fooling around, because in my humble opinion, if you act like Almighty Jay, you're pretty much a low value guy. You have low standards, even if you have money. And the women that engage in any relations with him, they have low standards. How can you just sleep with a guy that literally, he's a rapper, the notorious for cheating, to sleep with him without protection? You're crazy. Then when you get this STI, you have this social media back and forth, accusations, and the rubbing goes on. Okay? It's just ridiculous. And I'll say this, even for married people, marriage is the best place to, I would say, safer, just to avoid any type of STIs or whatever. But even then, I would say you better get tested on a regular basis, because you don't know if your partner is engaged in any type of extracurricular activities and you're catching the disease. It does happen. There are stories like that all the time. But that's my 2 cents. Guys, tell me what you think. Please leave your comments. Alright? Like, subscribe. Until then, bless.